or something. Oops.
Perfect.
And we are hello, hello, hello. I see some familiar faces. We are live streaming. I know the big live stream today was Taylor Swift making her announcement, but we're going to try and compete with that a little bit. Oh my gosh, what is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. I am your host, Stevie V. This is episode 691 alongside partner in crime, Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. Happy summertime, Kodi.
Happy summertime. Hello, darling. How are you feeling today? It's so lovely to see you.
I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really great. Happy as always. I love summer. We got to just soak it in and enjoy it because it's just going to like go between our fingertips like sand soon. And I don't want
Right?
that to happen. So I'm enjoying every moment of this summer.
I love that.
Yeah. Let's get right into it, as we have been talking about how for the last couple of episodes, and you all have really chimed in, which is really making this topic a lot of fun. We're talking about how to host a successful orgy. And I feel like we're fine tuning it for you all so that when you ultimately get up the gumption to throw your own party, that you will have the tools necessary to have just a fabulous orgy, play party. You know, when I post, Kodi, on some of the Instagrams, I asked ChatGPT, can you use the word orgy? And it said no, but you said you can use play party and things of that nature. So I've been using that as a hashtag, and that's been working. But we love it when you talk back to us, and somebody that talked back to us on this particular topic is none other than Finn Deerhart, a former special guest of ours that we adore here on TAGSPodcast. We'll have him back on and get his more great messaging from him, but he said, good morning, listening to the new podcast on orgy tips. He said, I totally disagree with your co-host Lincoln. Sorry, Lincoln. Sex with friends has been the way to go for me for many years. Of course, anonymous stuff can be fun for its own sake, but I have had sexual friends with whom I move in and out of varying stages of sex and intimacy for a long time.
Oh, wow.
I think it's about how much vulnerability people can actually tolerate with friendships. And, you know, for background on Finn, you know, he hosts a lot. He's a intimacy coach, and he also hosts, I've been to some of his workshops before where I have worked with people that I knew intimately in a workshop of his, and it's been so impactful. And this is the work that he does. So giving that a little bit of context, I agree with him. It was really where I was going with a lot of this, that there are certain friends that I can actually have that at certain points in time, given a group situation. And I think it could only make the sex that much better in situations. And I know, obviously, he mentioned and referenced Lincoln's standpoint on that it was pretty much a hard no. I for some reason didn't get that. But how do you feel on this one?
So I am kind of on the side of Lincoln's side. I'm on his side because I feel like, for me, I haven't really in the past hooked up with any of my friends. I feel like that's a very hard line for me. But then when we were just talking about it, and the way Finn, because I would have sex with Finn, and I consider him my friend. So maybe it's like, maybe it's not my inner circle of friends that I have sex with. So I think I'm really kind of trying to reevaluate things, which is why we do this show. So I'm glad we're having this discussion. I think it is a very, topical, and it's something that can help us expand our minds and our sexuality. So I'm really out here researching. So I'm so glad he brought this to the group, and continue people to keep on writing in and providing us with different perspectives, because it just helps to layer the conversation.
Yeah, and you bring up some really good points that, Finn, of course, is friend to the show, friend to us. I also could see myself, definitely being intimate with him and his husband, partner, for sure. And I think that sexuality can be very fluid in many ways. And I think that, yeah, it goes back to what I was suggesting on episode 690, that you almost have layers of friends. There are some friends that are super close that I wouldn't probably go there necessarily with, but wouldn't be mind being in the same room with. The other thing is, I would also be comfortable with going closer to certain groups of friends that, yeah, I just think, how do you feel about that part?
Say that one more time for me.
That, I think there's certain groups of friends that you
Oh yeah.
can, as I was talking about on episode 690, that you have almost tiers of friends. And some of those friends you can actually go closer with, but I've had super close friends that knew at one point, and I'm going to re-upstart it soon in a new vein, my not suitable for work, my OnlyFans, and that were comfortable looking at my content, and they're like super close friends of mine, and I'm comfortable with that. And I think it's great that they would even want to. I think sexuality is fluid, and there's a time and a place for all of it, and your friends come in different categories oftentimes as well.
Yeah, you know what, I think it's about gauging your friend's comfortability. I
Yeah.
think that's a huge part of it, because if you know that somebody is not going to enjoy something, then why are you inviting them to this type of situation? So
Yeah.
I agree with you. I have friends that I do feel like could be in that type of situation with me and not necessarily want to interact with me, but they would be okay with us being vaguely in the same area at the same time that all the shenanigans are going down. But yeah, so it's all about knowing your friends and knowing yourself. So know thyself, know thy
Let's do a
friends.
poll on this show for those of you
I would love
watching
to do
us
a poll.
live and ask the question: could you participate in an orgy or a play party with friends of yours, friends that you know? Yes or no? We will read them throughout this whole show because it's been this ongoing topic that we've carried over. Let us know how you weigh in on it. If there's more to extrapolate on it, please conclude that. But that is the question of tonight. Could you have enter an orgy or a play party with your friends? And yes, we want to hear more. By the
I'm
way,
actually creating a poll right now so we can get the results live today.
I love it. I love it. And we'll continue this poll on our Tags Patreon community as well. I'll post it over there too. And the conversation continues all week long. And that's kind of the fun of this is we have our opinions on all this stuff, but it's really great that you guys write into us. And thanks, Finn, for writing in on that topic and keeping the conversation going. Okay, well, we want to get into our first discussion on gay sexuality of the night, and it has to do with tops. We might do another one on bottoms upcoming, but it all stemmed from a recent article that said the juice isn't worth the squeeze. What are we talking about? Well, that's when Tops revealed the reasons why they don't like to bottom. And it was on a subreddit thread that really went viral that continues the conversation of Tops, why don't you like bottoming? There's several reasons. We're going to talk about it, about all of them. The interesting thing about me is, before we get into the conversation, is that I have traditionally been a bottom for so many years, and lately I have reversed it, flipped it like Missy Elliott, and I am verse and enjoying being a top. And so I have a lot to add to this conversation. There's the poll: could you enter a play party orgy with friends? And I'm putting voting right now. So thank you so much. But back to the conversation at hand, Kodi. I'm going to read you a few things on why so many tops are not willing to bottom You weigh in, we'll discuss, and you guys watching us live say. One of the reasons that made absolutely zero sense to me was that they said there's zero pleasure. So many people wrote in to say that they just really didn't get any pleasure. They also said things, Kodi, like their nipples aren't wired, so they don't feel anything in that camp either.
Yeah.
And I would challenge those people, though, that say that ass anal region is a pleasurable zone, and you really have to take the time to have somebody play around there. You should do your own play. In fact, just talking about Finn Deerhart, you can do a whole play thing. He has a lot of these seminars that he does all year long that talk about this. When you did bottom, Kodi, was it zero pleasure, or I mean, what's with this zero pleasure?
I don't get that. I think that maybe they are, you know what? Everybody's body is different. For me, from my perspective, what would probably have been the situation for me and feeling zero pleasure would be the fact that I was getting too much in my head about the whole thing. So I think maybe they should explore that, because everybody is different. He could probably be getting no pleasure from it. Also, the whole nipple thing, until I got my nipples pierced, they were useless. They were like little, they might as well have been buttons sewn onto my chest, because I really didn't feel anything. But after I got them pierced, a lot of things started to activate down there. But I think that once you open yourself up to the experience of bottoming, it can be extremely pleasurable. I haven't done it in a long time. It's probably like 15, 20, almost 20 years since I bottomed. So
yeah, I would say the comparison to nipple play, and a lot of people have often said they don't feel anything in that. You know, maybe it takes something like getting your nipples pierced. Maybe for me, it took just somebody playing with them for so long, and they're not so wired that I can ejaculate, but definitely if somebody's spending some time down there, it feels really good. The comparison to ass play, and that is just a region that I think is an erogenous zone, that maybe you don't like that, taking a dick up your ass, but you know, as Dr. Goldstein, the good doctor that's been on our show so many times, but seriously is the book, he really talks about the erogenous zones and starting off small, that take time with yourself, just like Finn Deerhart says on our show as well, that you can just have playtime by yourself. And there are all kinds of small toys, even glass toys that he recommends. I'm talking about Dr. Goldstein, that are really good to just play with that area. Or if you have a partner, have them just play with that area, kissing and all that good stuff. You might surprise yourself.
Also, something that the original poster put in the whole shenanigans was that he didn't experience pleasure from having your ass eaten, which is kind of wild to me, because I climb the walls when I get my ass eaten. So maybe it's something that's going on with him. I don't understand. I don't know. Like you, I think that the ass is a very erogenous zone. So I really hope that he gets the answers that he's looking for as far as to what and why there's less sensitivity down there.
We mentioned we're live. Doug, watching us live, says, I tried bottoming several times and just didn't care for it. So see, there is a whole community out there that it's just not their thing. And hey, if you try it, even the suggestions we're making and you still don't like it, I say that's fine. An interesting little tidbit for me, what I've learned, I think the reason I became such a bottom was I looked so young for so many years, and everybody wanted me to be that bottom for them.
We're going to talk more about this later.
Yeah, and I ended up going that route almost by default. It was just kind of the way. I didn't even think being a top was an option for me because of the people that I had hooked up with. And as I've matured, gotten older, learned about my sexuality, I've learned that I can be a good top. And I've and age is something, maturity is something that has taught me to actually, we're going to talk about this next thing. And this is the one that I really relate to: control and domination. So we're not talking about like owning somebody necessarily, but here's what somebody said. We'll discuss. I tried bottoming many times, just isn't my thing, didn't feel any pleasure from it. And I have a hard time to let go as I feel in control, and topping really gives me that power of control in bed. Here's what somebody else wrote. I like to be the one giving, seeing that mix of pleasure and pain in their eyes and face. To reach down with my neck and kiss them while doing it. I do fantasize about bottoming for hot guys, but in real life, I prefer to top almost exclusively. And lastly, this is the one that I don't get. They said it's boring and I'm not really into some of the sensations. How could it be? Okay.
Girl.
That last one, I feel like we just got to cancel out, because it's not sex. First of all, it is sex. Sex should never be boring. If you've bottomed before, I'm just going to put it out there, and you thought it was boring, you were just with the wrong person.
That's it.
Because the overall, and we're using, like, I'm back to my talking about spreadsheets and all, the overall category is sex, and sex should never be boring. So it's just the person doing it wasn't doing a good enough job for you. That's what I got to say on that. But the other two things of control, I have learned in the last several years to own that part of it. And there is sort of a control. And I think of two things when I think of the word control. Obviously, I think of Janet Jackson.
I'm singing it in my brain right now.
But the other, shut up, Duran. And the other side of control has to do with, you are the one leading the situation and leading the sex, and you do not want to make it boring. And it can be fun control. I've enjoyed it with my partner, Diego. I love it. And so, yeah, embracing that side of control that makes that bottom feel that they are in for a good time, not boring. What do you say?
No, I agree with you. And I think that maybe a lot of why I do enjoy topping so much, because like I feel like for a lot of aspects of my life, control is very important, especially here in the past couple of years. Janet Jackson has taught me so much. I'm still singing this song in my head. And I do feel like, for me specifically, being in the bottom gives up a lot of that control. So I feel maybe that, and this is something I need to explore. This is my therapy session right here, right now. Because I feel like for me, bottoming gives up a lot of that control, and I am reluctant to put myself in that position currently or anytime soon. So yeah, and I like to please the bottoms, honey. I think that is my greatest joy in the world, to just lay somebody down and have them enjoy.
And that's the thing that I've been enjoying. That was one of the references on the second point, is out of control, is the pleasure that you give to your partner, whoever that may be.
It's a huge part for me.
Yeah, that's something that I've learned that I enjoy as well. Bryce, watching us live, says it's important to note that being a bottom is different than sole prostate stimulation. It's far more nuanced. And let me just stop that point there. Yeah, what I was suggesting earlier is that if you find no pleasure in it at all, as the good doctor, Dr. Goldstein, has said before, is if you're not even finding any pleasure in that area, you need to start finding how the pleasure could be through small stimulations that you can do with toys on your own before you bring somebody over. But I hear what you're saying. He goes on to say it's far more nuanced. A top can enjoy their prostate stimulated, but not like bottoming. Prostate vibration toys that don't fuck you. So
interesting point.
Good points there. Let me continue reading on. As beyond the obvious is preparation. The other big reason many tops just do not want to go there is they don't want to do all that prep and all the time that it takes. And listen, I can tell you, Kodi, as I've become more of a top with my partner, Diego, it's a lot easier. I don't have to worry about certain things. Somebody wrote in, my digestive system is a headache to mess around with, revealed someone. And I agree. That can be a whole thing. What do you say to that, the preparation?
Girl. So when I was younger and bottoming, I didn't have to douche at all. I was just very, I was.
Sorry, we're dog sitting and she just arrived.
Oh, hi, puppy. I was like, oh, who is he playing with?
Playing with an ass. A dog's ass, but yeah, Bella just arrived and she's going crazy.
Hi, Bella. Yeah,
Hi,
so
Bella.
I didn't have to clean out when I was younger, but I feel like the situation I got going on now with my digestive tract would require a lot of preparation. So that's another reason I'm reluctant to go back into bottom and reclaiming my bottoming time.
Come on,
reclaiming my bottoming time.
That is so funny. But yeah, preparation is a big deal. And lastly, they're asking the question on QWERTY, what is the one piece of advice you would give bottoms on the other end of it? Kodi, you've been seeing a lot of bottoms. Do you have any advice that you would give to bottoms other than clean out and make it clean?
Even if that happens,
this mess. Joan Crawford, mommy dearest,
darling. Christina, bring me the axe. No, so
sorry, Faye Dunaway as Joan Crawford and mommy dearest, and clean up this mess.
Yeah. So I was giving this a lot of thought, and all that I could come up with was things that I like for a bottom to do. Make sure you're mown, make sure your back is arched so we can see that. And all that stuff is specific to me. If the real good advice that I can give to somebody as far as bottoming is concerned, let your top know what you like, how you like it. If it's too hard, if it's too fast, talk to your top about communication. I think that's the most important thing. Quick story. I was hooking up with a bottom recently.
Just one.
I've seen a lot of them. And I am used to a bottom wanting to be pounded, especially now. That's all the kids want. So I'm like,
hey, if the trend is,
I'm here to oblige.
Yeah.
And this guy in particular, he wanted it long, deep strokes and slow, which I thought was very hot. So he instructed me how to do it. I happily obliged.
On the R&B, and we
and we had a fantastic time. And sometimes I would get back into the rhythm. He would just slow me down and say, "You got it, babe. Just long, deep strokes."
Well, and what a good point to remind us all is for you bottoms listening is you have the ultimate control.
Yes.
And many people think we talk about the top being in control. It's really in a healthy situation, whatever it is, partner, hookup, all of that good stuff. It's the bottom that should ultimately dictate how it's going to go. Now, the bottom can give up that control and say, how he wants to get it. He's still telling you how he wants to get it done, though, in the end.
He's like, I want you to be in control. So, like, that is an order.
Because it's all about control. And what do you got?
Lots of it.
Okay, shut up, man.
All right, it's time for a dance break. Let's go.
Right, exactly. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Well, we have been talking a lot about AI recently on the show, and it was another discussion that I really wanted to have on this show because it had to do. We used. I joked on episode 690 that my therapist is AI, and our co-host Lincoln said that explains a lot, and I said yes. They tell me everything I want to hear.
Yeah.
Well, AI though is worthy. It got me thinking because really, I mean, what happens to our desire when the person you're sleeping with isn't actually a person? From AI boyfriends who text you good morning to full body virtual reality hookups. technology is here, and are we headed towards liberation or loneliness is really the question. And hi, Bella. Are you headed towards liberation or what are you headed towards? She's headed towards rolling around this couch here. But,
Exactly.
but you know, a lot of people are, I've been using AI a lot. You've been using it a lot. Chat GPT is real. It's kind of the linear path that we're going on, Kodi. I mean, if you think about the early days of AOL, chat rooms, Grinder launched in 2009. We have been going down this path. There have been dolls that have been thrown at us that are silly, but I got to tell you, I've been using ChatGPT for so many. I've been updating my resume. I've been using it for business plans. I've been using it for this show. I've been using it to cook my dinner. I don't rely on it completely, but I put a lot of myself in there, and then it spits out something and I revise. What's to say that I couldn't put in the person that I really want to be with in times of loneliness?
I personally am not for the AI boyfriends, AI girlfriends, anything like that. I think AI is stealing a lot of connection and creativity from the world personally, because I think that people rely on it for too much. I think it's good as a tool to elevate what you have. Like you said, I've been using it for various projects, but it's not going to sing for me. It's not going to write my songs. That's where I draw the line. So I think when it's used as a crutch, that is when things start to go awry. And I think that these AI boyfriends or girlfriends are a replacement for actual human connection. And yeah, I have more to say, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, well, I just think we do so many, we report so much on Reddit threads and people writing into here where people are so unsuccessful finding that partner that they're really looking for. People are ghosting each other, people are leaving each other high and dry. It's much harder than ever before to find that perfect partner when there's grass is always green on the other side. We don't really know what we want. We're living in really tough, crazy times. If you, I have been using ChatGPT lately for all kinds of things. What's to say that you wouldn't use it for something like an intimacy issue? If you could create, if you could put somebody in AI of a not suitable for work porn star, a look that you liked, and create this person in the meantime before you find Mr. Right, why wouldn't you? Where's the draw? The line is that it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because I really feel that AI is the future, but I also feel that this is my real feeling. I feel like AI is such an amazing tool and I use it all the time. I do fear that people will go down this route. And one of the things that I learned in the pandemic was to really get to know my neighbors in this particular building that I've lived in now for 17 years. And 15 years, 14 years ago when the pandemic was happening was the first time that I actually forced myself to get to know my neighbors via a rooftop that we share, via the lobby. And I now have these communal friends, people that I see in my gym. And I love connecting with people in my grocery store. I connect with people, and I fear that we are a society that is really getting away from connecting with people on the streets, not making friends, not finding loved ones, and we're headed towards this. What do you say to that?
First of all, I love doing it on the streets. So thank you for that.
It's called cruising, baby.
But I hear you 100%. I'm with you. I think that somebody was saying something about like AI being there for you and being AI is going to tell you what you want to hear at the end of the day. Yes, it's not going to be, it's very reliable. It'll be there when you come home from work, what have you, all of those things. But how is that challenging you? How is that helping you grow as a person? So I think none of those things can be replaced from an actual relationship. And I would honestly take all the bad things for the good parts of a relationship. So yeah. Another
But
thing I have.
let me,
Okay,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, go ahead. You had something
No,
written.
it's small and it's funny, so it'll come after this.
But let's just push. You know, we talked a lot about these topics in our meeting, but let's just push on the notion of loneliness and that thought that, like, it's so hard to meet a partner. Why wouldn't you turn towards something like this in the meantime to fulfill that portion of yourself? Why wouldn't you? I guess the question, that maybe could be another poll question.
Yeah.
If in times of
I gotta type.
loneliness, would you turn to AI for a potential lover?
I don't think I would, because at the end of in the back of my mind, I would know that it's not real, and I would know that this is just something that I'm using as a crutch. I don't think it's healthy either, because for something that you're supposedly in a relationship to do everything that you want it to do, that
Yeah.
is narcissist, A1 narcissist, egoist, all the ists that are all about you and yourself. So
But what if you could, healthy wise, in the meantime, go out and have fun sex, the orgies that we're talking about earlier
Mhm,
on in the show,
mhm.
cruising that we talk about a lot on this show, but you wanted that connection that you weren't getting at the moment. And you just set a period of time. For this period of time, I want somebody to talk to basically say what I want the universe to bring me in the future. What would be wrong with that?
I don't think. I think I don't want to like yuck on anyone's yum. But I think I really worry about people and how it will affect them down the line is what I will say, because it could be very detrimental to your mental state, something like this. But I that's just how I feel. I feel like it's a slippery slope, and if you like one, and especially this part where you have a boyfriend that is, it's not real. It's how you programmed him to be. So I think that right there is it just it's dangerous for me personally. That's
Yeah,
just from my perspective.
we want to know what you think, and that brings us to our next poll question, which is, Kodi, would you take on an AI
Oh
lover?
yeah, that's right. I got to do another poll. I got it. Oh no, I'm just
I
taking polls left and right.
Yes, up his ass. Um, for the record, if we our last poll question asked the question, could you enter a play party orgy with friends? And 60% of you so far, we'll continue this on our Tags Patreon community, says yes, I'm down for the get down. Whereas 20% of you say no, and one of you says depends on the friends.
That was me.
And I get that as well. And yeah. Bella, how do you? I think Bella's she's in the latter category. But yeah. I love that. So let's create our next poll. We will continue these polls, though, on our Tags Patreon community. Simply go to patreon.com/Tags Podcast, where the conversation continues all week long, and we can do things like polls and carry on these conversations. There's the one. Kodi asked the question, would you take on an AI boyfriend? The answers are yes, sign me up. No, not for me. I love that. Sweetie. Okay. Well, it is time to get into some hot topics, and there are some really crazy ones. Remember the Kim Davis? I can't believe she's back in the news.
Let me take
Kim
another
Davis.
sip.
What's that?
I need another sip to talk about Kim
Yeah.
Davis.
Kim Davis is the former Kentucky county clerk who was jailed for 6 days in 2015 for illegally refusing to issue marriage licenses to gay couples. She will not let it go. And she recently successfully brought it up to the Supreme Court that they will actually consider taking on this case 10 years after Obergefell Obergefell and what's the other guy's name?
I
Oh my
forget.
gosh.
I had to look it up.
Gay marriage, basically,
Yeah.
same-sex marriage.
Hodges.
Hodges was considered, it went into effect 10 years ago. We just celebrated 10 years of that. And here's the thing about that. I watched a whole bunch of news analysis on this. And yes, her lawyer and her brought it back up to the Supreme Court to have it considered in the fall. The likelihood of that happening is slim to zero, even though you may say there's a conservative court, Kodi. But the reality is, when something has been implemented in the court system, in the Supreme Court system, of so young, I know it's been 10 years, but it's really not that long. They're not likely to want to they're going to probably turn that down, according to all my analysis people that I listen to, and it won't be. However, if for some reason it was with a conservative court, what would that mean? Yes, they could potentially overturn it, just like they did Roe versus Wade. Mm-hmm. But remember, Roe versus Wade, under the last argument I was saying, was years and years and years and years and years, sadly was overturned. In this situation, if they did, conservative court would likely reverse it, which would be awful. Those that are already married would be basically grandfathered in. So you basically wouldn't be an issue for those that are married. And so that's a good thing. It would also go to state. So some states would make it up to the state to who acknowledges it, but it could get kind of crazy. Biden put in a whole caveat when he was in office that basically said certain states have to acknowledge that couples are married, even if it's not legal in their particular state. So there are some loop arounds. It's not, the world is not over on this issue. What do you say to this? And could she be more Karen?
Okay. This lady has 0 legs to stand on. She has been married 4 times, twice to the same man. She does not know what marriage is all about. So I am not taking advice from her. I am, like you said, experts are saying that there is not a lot to worry about in this case. However, I would like for everyone to use this case and what's going on right now to be aware of everything that is going on. That's all I'm really asking people, is to stay up on what's happening and make sure you're out there doing what you can to stem attacks like this from actually affecting our community. Yes, she's a bitch.
She really is. I mean, I'll never forget. It's so weird too, because I am getting married this year, 2025. And
it's 2 months now?
Let me just tell you a little quick relevant story that relates to all of this. Mm-hmm. Bear with me. I am getting married, and in talking to my mother, who's in her 80s, she was asking me, are you inviting my sisters? And her sisters are also older than my mom's in her 80s, and they're older than her. So go with, and I love them. They're the aunts that I grew up with. One of the aunts is daughter-in-law, so not that my cousin's wife. When Kim Davis back in the day actually stood up and in Kentucky and said that she was not going to sign same-sex marriage licenses, and then they put her in jail.
Okay.
My cousin, so not my cousin, but my cousin's wife, she's my cousin too.
Yeah.
And my first cousin's wife put a picture of herself on Facebook saying that she wrote to Kim Davis in jail and said, I support you. And the only reason I knew about it was my sister told me about this and said, can you believe that our cousin's wife is proud of the fact that I said, so she's basically supporting a criminal, because Kim Davis at the time was a criminal, people and
I
being put
mean,
in
sounds about
jail.
mega.
Yes, but she was a criminal being put in jail, people, and she is supporting a criminal. So let's just start with that. And I said, number two, unblock her right now, or you're not my sister. Well, of course, my sister did the right thing, and all is good in the hood. But cut to back to me getting married this year, and my mother is saying, well, you need to invite my aunt. And by the way, that cousin-in-law is living with my aunt that my mother wants me to invite. I am going to be sending over a hard copy to that aunt, inviting her. It will not go to that cousin, but it will be in the same household as the woman that sent that letter. And I'm kind of like, Mom, if that's what you want me to do, fine. But I really hope that it generates a conversation. I would love to be a fly on the wall
Oh my
to
God, me
hear
too. Oh, that is
that
juicy.
somebody so close in the family is having a same-sex marriage this year. And it's kind of like a total flip off. Well, she's not invited, but my aunt is. And I don't think my aunt will, but it's so ironic, right?
She can go visit Kim Davis.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
See how that part of it gets you.
It's just crazy. So many celebrities have been standing up and we're here for it. And yeah, everybody, we're here for it. All right, moving on to another hot topic. You remember the marriage that only lasted 6 months? I'm talking about hairstylist to the stars. I'm talking about Chris Appleton. He does Jennifer Lopez, Kim Kardashian. Chris Appleton, who was married to Lucas Gage, think White Lotus, who we love.
Yeah.
That marriage only lasted 6 months. Well, Lucas talked a little bit about it when it was happening. Both of them have memoirs coming out soon. Lucas is out sooner. It's more of a comedy, fun memoir. Chris Appleton has been doing the circuit, Kodi, to basically be talking about, the whole thing is he didn't say anything about when he filed for divorce from Lucas Gage, but now you got to promote that memoir that's coming out in early 2026. And now he's talking about he almost took his life, which we're glad he didn't.
Yes.
When he was gay, but he's also talking briefly a little bit about why the relationship didn't work. And I don't know, I find it a little bit like he needs to do this to get to sell books.
Oh yeah, he does.
He says the truth is, quote, especially during that time, I was going through a lot of private pain. He added that online speculation about his romantic life were incredibly intense, especially when you're just trying to deal with things. He had children at the time. His children are in their 20s. And that's all he really says. What do you think about this? Because when they asked Lucas Gage about, your former husband is releasing this book, you're releasing your book, what do you think about this? Lucas was much more, demure about it all.
I think that when Lucas releases his book, more things will come out from Lucas about what's going on here, because self-promotion is the name of the game.
Right.
I think when you ruffle a little feathers, then things sell a little bit more. And it's just, it is what it is, unfortunately. And Chris Appleton learned from Kris Jenner, so I know that he has all the things going on. Yeah, so I think that this is just another example of him using a little bit of salaciousness in order to say, "Hi, Bella.
I brought our little friend, Bella.
Hi, cutie pie. Hi, Bella. How are you?"
I just had to say she had to say hi. So yeah.
Yeah, shameless self-promotion. That's it. And you know what? I'm gonna take a page out of it too. So look for my sex tape when my album comes out.
As we all know now, that if you're writing a memoir and you're only like 30, 40, 50, it's like you've got to share details to make people want to read it. And of course now he has to share all that. But I don't know. I'm definitely Team Lucas. I'm more inclined to read his memoir than I am the other ones. No,
I know,
thank
but
you.
it's just because Chris Appleton seems like very type A, and
Yeah, no,
Lucas
thank you.
Gage just seems like very much more laid back. So that's the reason that I feel like we
Yeah.
gravitate towards him more.
How's our poll doing before we move
Oh,
on?
I know we need to check on our polls. So
Yes.
the orgy with the friends, 60% said yes, 20% said no, and 20% said depends on the friends. And the AI boyfriend, 25% said yes, sign me up, and 75% said no, not for me. Interesting. Did you
Okay.
vote, Steve?
On the last one, no, let me
Oh,
uh
weigh in, boo.
I did the first poll. Here's the other one. Would you take an AI boyfriend? I mean, I would,
You
given
would?
the, I would because I think for a period of time, but I would continue to be looking. And we
Oh.
had a matchmaker on the show last week, and I would be doing that route. I would keep it in perspective too, but I would also, like I told Lincoln, ask my AI therapist, "Is this good?" and get their
And
input
they would
too.
say yes.
Hey, listen, I am all about this
Do
AI
what you
stuff.
need
I
to
am all
do.
about it.
Oh,
Use
so
technology in every way. And listen, I don't have to pay my AI therapist like you all do. And I'm getting some good feedback now.
girl. Wait,
Hey,
so
and I'm
are,
happy.
yeah, I bet you are. Are you and Diego going to take on a third AI boyfriend? I think that's like that's where this is headed next, a throuple.
Right now we have Bella and we've got a full household, so no, we will not be. But yeah. Oh my God. Do we I think we should okay, let's talk one more hot topic because
Okay,
there's
it's
two
juicy.
Broadway dramas that are going on right now. And one of them has to do with Cabaret on Broadway, and the other one has to do with maybe happy endings, another Broadway, and both of them are experiencing some major drama. Let's break them both down. The one on Cabaret, which is at the Kit Kat Club. I've seen Cabaret. We all know the famous movie with Joel Grey, 1972, Bob Fosse thing. All was such a huge, iconic piece. I actually saw it with Ellen Cumming on Broadway several years ago, and
Oh,
it
I bet you that
was
was amazing.
amazing.
I
And
love them.
recently, it has been at the Kit Kat Club where you're kind of part of the audience, and it's had the likes of so many people playing the main character, including who are some of the actors that have been playing it?
Adam
Um,
Lambert,
yep,
Orville
Orville
Peck,
Peck
and now
are
Billy
been,
Porter.
and now to close it out because it will be closing is Billy Porter, who's going to close it all out. He is in a little bit of controversy in that when he was on the morning show, asked, what's he going to bring to it? He basically said, with what's going on in the world right now, Black people have replaced Jews. He's giving his own take on it when he brings it to it. Um, I feel like this part is up for interpretation. I don't know that that particular comment was the right comment to make, given that a lot of people had took umbrage with the fact that Jews are still being anti-Semitism is still a big thing right now, and I think maybe it was mourning, and he's not a mourning person, and he just said the wrong thing, but I do appreciate the fact that that part is up for interpretation, and
Mm-hmm.
he said that he's going to bring an American version to it from a slavery and a Black person, which I think will be so impactful. And hearing his vocals will be amazing. Perhaps he said the wrong thing in that clip, but I don't think we should persecute him for one dumb comment like that. What do you say to that?
Oh, I totally agree with you. I think that what he meant to say was Black people and Jewish people have a lot of parallels in our struggle.
Yeah.
And I think that would have went over way better than what he actually said, because even it
Yeah.
made me cringe a little bit. I was like, oh no. And I live for Billy Porter.
Oh, me too.
Ever since I was a young young gay, and he wasn't out, and
Yeah.
I just have lived for him always.
Yeah.
But I do think that he stepped in it on this one, and I think that he has some clearing up to do, because I do think he has a valid viewpoint when it comes to cabaret, but I think all that is being lost, and I think that a lot of like criticism, it's getting very racial and it's getting very not cute, honey.
Well, and the other side of it is that I often feel that people of color are far more prosecuted if they say something just off kilter
Yeah,
than our counterparts at
because we're
times.
supposed to be
And
better. We're supposed to know
yeah,
better.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. And you can't take away the Black experience and know that ultimately what he was really saying, and he does say this in, if you have to listen to the full interview,
yeah,
he is bringing something, he will bring a lot to the role of somebody that's relating to somebody that's being about to be persecuted in many ways. That is that role.
yeah.
That person is about to, experience the worst of the atrocities of anti-Semitism in Germany, Berlin, back in that period. But it doesn't take away the fact that we are experiencing it now as
Yeah.
people of color, that he can bring so much as a Black person with his history and his people, that it's just worded, it didn't come out right, but that's okay. And the fact that he's being persecuted for this is sad, but I'm thinking about going to see him in
Oh,
this
let's
role.
go. I love him.
Yeah.
They're trying to close it down, so we need to go soon.
Yeah, exactly. And somebody else that's calling out Broadway right now is Maybe Happy Endings, the show that I really wanted to see, that won so many awards, including Darren Criss winning best. It won best score, it won best book, it won best musical, and Darren Criss won for the best male actor in a musical role. Darren Criss, who I love, is leaving the role, and they are replacing him with a white actor. And BD Wong, and we should probably name that actor that he is replacing. Can you get that name while I just tell the story? Because essentially, BD Wong is saying that it should have gone to an Asian actor. Darren Criss, by the way, is half Asian, and
Yes.
it was
And
always an.
Andrew Barth Feldman is the guy that's replacing him.
Thank you. And it's when the producers got wind of this controversy and they hear it, and they also said, when they said, we wrote a show about robots so we could engage more intimately with the most basic human questions of love and loss, creating the roles of Oliver and Claire to be avatars of these universal questions. They were meant to be products created by a global company, and so never bore Korean names, even in the Korean version of the show, because it was originally there. And at the same time, we understand that for many in the AAPI community, the makeup of our opening night cast became a meaningful and rare point of visibility. And it continues. We've heard how strong people connected to that representation, even if it wasn't our original intent, and how this casting decision has reopened old wounds. They didn't say much beyond that, but don't you like that they addressed it
I
so
do. I think
honestly?
it's, yeah, I really
Because
think
we
that
can all make mistakes, and their intention was never, I think it was originally in Korea. Their in, I this one doesn't. I mean, I love that BD Wong is standing up. I love BD Wong, a
me
gay
too.
Asian actor. I think it could have probably gone to another Asian musical theater actor. Maybe this was a misstep, but
I-
I don't see it as you. How do you see it?
As a misstep, I think it is
No,
kind of a misstep, because so
like
I,
maybe they should have known what's going on in this
yeah,
climate.
I think that, well, it's not even really the climate. It's like Asian actors have it really hard. I
They
feel
do.
like there are not enough roles for the talent, the wealth
And a
of talent
lead,
that is
and you're
out
right. And
there.
I'm gonna just change my thought process to you, because to take on leads like that, and of course Darren Criss is half, which is amazing,
Yeah,
half Asian.
but how good would it have been if it was like a visual? Now I'm not going to say it, but somebody that could bring a more of an experience. I don't know. I'm not going to
Yeah.
say that. I think that you never know who
Right.
could be better in that, in what another person could bring to that role. And I'm
Yeah.
here for colorblind casting, but I am also here for giving a marginalized group an opportunity to shine.
Right. She had a sticker in her mouth, the dog.
Oh my goodness. She's our
Like,
third
what is in your
co-host
mouth?
today.
Sorry.
So funny.
So much. Okay. Well, we love giving advice on this show, and we have about 5 minutes
Yes,
because
we could do it.
people that normally listen to the show, there was no thirst trap this particular week, but there is advice that we can give, and we want you to weigh in. When somebody wrote, boyfriend engages in intimate acts with close friends. My boyfriend is a nudist. Sometimes he would hold hands in public with a close friend. Not a big concern for me. And there have been instances where he would get naked with a close friend and cuddle in bed, different friends each time. But these instances were before we started to consider a serious relationship. And he wants to continue this. I'm moderately uncomfortable about this and worried it may become a slippery slope. You think? How would you feel if you were in my position? Just want to hear this. We won't even need the 5 minutes on this one.
I know, right? I was like, oh, what are we doing next?
It would be a hard no.
Yes.
Intimacy is so play, as I've experienced with my Diego. We've had some fun play moments, but it's just that, and it ends with that. Our intimacy is sacred, I feel, and intimacy of cuddling and carrying on naked with other people and cuddling with them when you're in another relationship can lead to a slippery slope. And maybe there is a world out there that can exist after a period of time. I think, honey, no.
Honey, no. I actually dealt with something like this. Honestly, it wasn't nudist or anything like that, but a guy that I was dating slept in the bed with his friends whenever he would spend the night, and I'm very uncomfortable with that. And as long as you communicate your boundaries, and it was even a girl and the boyfriend, and I don't think anything was going on sexually, but still it made me a little bit uncomfortable. And it's all about, relationships are all about compromise and expressing how you're feeling, and the other person being receptive to it, and they were. So
yeah,
everything worked out.
This person definitely needs to bring this up, that, well, you may have done this in the past. I'm not comfortable with this right now, and we can revisit it later. But why do you need to be cuddling with these friends? Aren't I enough?
Naked.
Aren't I enough?
No, not
yeah,
that.
Don't get me started on that. Because
girl.
Yeah,
I know, girl.
Oh my God, so much fun. Let's revisit our poll before we go.
Yes.
Where are people on both polls?
So can you enter a play party orgy with your friends? We have 60% at yes, I'm down for the get down. 20% at no, friends and lovers should be separate, and 20% for depends on the friends. Now, would you take on an AI boyfriend? Oh, we're at 40% yes, sign me up, and 60% no, not for me.
I love
that
it.
Just seemed like everybody needs to vote. Come on now. Even the listeners, come back to the live.
These polls will continue. I'm going to carry them over to our Patreon community. I can do those same polls over there. Go to patreon.com/TAGSPodcast, and we'll continue the polls and continue this conversation, because AI is not going away, y'all.
It is not. That is one thing everybody needs to realize. That is not going. It's only getting more popular. So,
and we need orgies in these times of crises. So keep us level-headed. Kodi, can I get an amen?
Amen, honey. I want to go to one we got to talk on Saturday.
Exactly. You can follow my co-host Kodi at Mr. Maurice on Blue Sky and on Instagram. Follow me on the gram. I am _Steve_V. We mentioned our Patreon community. And guys, thanks so much. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex. Thanks, everyone.